It's become one of the hottest rivalries in Massachusetts over the last few years. Putnam, last year's Division I state champion, versus Springfield Central, your 2012 Division I state champion, met here to conclude the first night of the Hoop Hall Classic at Springfield College's Blake Arena. It was a lot of hype building up to the game, packed crowd, loudest crowd we've heard probably in years. But in the second half, Putnam pulled away, taking a 7-point lead into a rout, 82-57. David Morrell, the returning All-State forward, leading the way with 27 points, 12 rebounds, and their Bulldog point guard, Diesel Wright, 10 points, 10 rebounds. It was quite a show here for Putnam. Let's get to the highlights. I'll pick it up here very late in the first quarter. Putnam got off to a 13-4 start to this game, but Central clawed its way back. Watch as Isaiah Pizarro walks up, hits his three just before the buzzer, makes it 18-15 Putnam as they go into the second. Central was giving the Beavers all they could handle for the first half as Putnam took a 34-27 lead into the break. But in the third quarter, it was all Putnam, outscoring the Golden Eagles 26-10. It was a lot of plays like this. Watch as John Garcia comes down with the board off this ill-fated three attempt. He was a long L with David Morrell, and he brings it home easily. And watch here is David Morrell, the returning All-State forward, rebounder extraordinaire, puts this back, and then roars in the face of his opponent. Putnam was really feeling the energy in the building tonight, and there was a lot of it. And then bringing it home, bringing the crowd off his feet. Here was Ty Nichols, two-handed slam, the first dunk of his high school career, and boy, did the place go wild. Putnam ran away with this one, 82-57, in the first of two matches between these heated rivals. We're joined here with Andy Smith, who covered the game tonight, our esteemed correspondent. Andy, I thought one of the key points going into the game was going to be how Putnam was going to D up Chris Baldwin, the 6'8 center for Central, who's got a lot of hype behind him. I thought they did a pretty good job for the most part. Morrell obviously getting his, but a number of players contributed to that good defense.
Yeah, and especially offensively, you don't really think about that, but they really like to get those long defensive rebounds, and make him run the floor, which he had difficulty doing. He really couldn't keep up, so a lot of times Putnam had a lot of 3-on-2s, 3-on-1s, things like that, and they were getting easy layups, and that helped as the game wore on, especially in the third quarter when Putnam really pulled away. It helped them to wear down the whole Central defense, and especially in the half, and then in the half court, they went to a 3-2 defense. They really wanted to keep the ball out of the middle, and they were really content with letting Central shoot from the outside, and they didn't have a lot of success doing that. So it was really a two-pronged attack to really slow down Chris Baldwin.
People are going to look at the final score, see 82 points, and think this is a pretty good scoring night for Putnam, but they missed a lot of bunnies around the net, and this is pretty customary from what we've seen with Putnam. Even last year in the state title game, it seems like the lid was on the rim for most of the game against Mansfield, and they come away with an overtime win. Is it just kind of their identity now, or is this something they can improve upon?
Yes and no. I think it's different because they get so many opportunities, and they push the ball so much that if they do miss a bunny, as you call it, is that they're going to get another opportunity later. They're going to keep pushing the pace. They're going to keep playing Putnam basketball, and they're going to keep attacking, and that's going to give them more opportunities, and that's going to lead to a score like you saw tonight.
The Jack O'Brien era off to a up and down start here for Central. They're winning the games that they need to, but in the spotlight, they've had a few kind of missed opportunities here. Do you see some strides, and maybe the second time these guys play later in the season, could there be a different result?
Yeah, I think when they decide on a good way to slow the ball down and really work it inside, because Chris Baldwin consistently tonight was one of the most impactful players on the floor when he wanted to be, and they really have to find a way to slow down the Putnam offense. And you say Jack O'Brien and you think of full court pressing defense, and they tried that early on, didn't really work very well, and so they got out of it. They decided to play more of a 2-3. They wanted to slow the game down and again keep the ball on the outside, force Putnam to play their kind of game, but they really couldn't get the stops that they needed to. They couldn't get back on defense like they needed to, and it really showed in the final score.
Well, there you have it. Our number one team in the land, Springfield Putnam, blown away. They're a crosstown, or really down the street rival, Springfield Central, 82-57. Once again, leaving no doubt about who's the best team in Massachusetts. Reporting for Andy Smith, Brennan Hall, ESPN Boston.